Alright, what's poppin', you sons of bitches? For one, I know that nobody's done this shit. I looked it the fuck up. I was scrolling for a solid fucking hour. Sorry. I was working on a little project that me and my friends are trying to put together. Also, essentially, what we will be doing is a Discord only user event. So let me explain that real quick. So essentially, we're going to be doing a bridge series, but it'll be a lot different from a normal abridged series. See, it'll mainly us just overlapping our voices with the show, and it'll be the full episode. So essentially, it'll just us be saying random shit. Now, if you want a part, I'll leave a Discord link down below. All you have to do is download Discord, hop on that, join the Discord, and then auditions, I'll be holding those from 2 weeks, so from today all the way into the next, today's Tuesday, so next Tuesday, and not this next Tuesday, but next Tuesday, you get what I mean. But anywho, this is what if Deku was Yugi, and I'm talking about Yugi Muto and Yami Yugi. Okay? So, let me explain this. So, Deku, he'll essentially have the Millennium puzzle as his quirk. Sorry, had to turn it down. But, and yeah, I'm sick during this, so, yeah. But, anyhow. So, the Millennium puzzle will essentially be his quirk. So, essentially, whenever he's not using his quirk, he looks like Yugi Muto, aka Short One. But whenever he is using his quirk, he'll get 1 foot 3 inches and 2 centimeters taller. Or if he just feels like looking in his actual form, which is when he uses his quirk, then he can just activate and look like that. But the Millennium Puzzle's chains will essentially be infused to his back. So yeah. But yeah, Deku essentially looks like this. And he will be able to, like, summon the monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh! Specifically Exodia, because if you ask me, he's the best monster. Me chilling with Exodia in my deck as we speak. Just like, But yeah, he'll be able to turn into or summon Exodia, Obelisk the Tormentor, the Winged Dragon of Ra, Sulfur, Chaos Emperor, Light Ray, Blackluster Soldier, and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So yeah. Essentially, this is what females in his class will be saying in middle school and in UA. But Deku, he essentially looks like this. A darker version of Yugi Muto. But yeah. And so he'll essentially dress like this occasionally. but he'll still mainly look like that. He darker, my boy. He a nigga. Like, I'm a Birochu. He a nigga. That's the only difference. If you can't tell what I'm planning on, you better take a good look at the shit that I have lined up. Well, let's start here. So, anyhow, when Deku was born, he's born to... Who shall we go with? Inko Midoriya and Aizawa. So essentially her name will be Inko Aizawa. But we're gonna call her Inko Midoriya because it's my fucking whatever. But anyhow, so since we did that, sorry. But yeah, that, and then her quirk will essentially be like to summon monsters. So essentially, like Blue Eyes White Dragon and other things. Just imagine your like favorite monsters, but it can't be any of the 8 that I named off. Yeah, 8. And so, anyhow, Deku, he goes ahead and proceeds to cause the most painful birthing ever to Inko. Like, ever. Because his body is constantly shifting between Exodia, Obelisk, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. Or no, it's shifting between the Dragon of Ra and everyone else. He can't go into Obelisk or Exodia yet. And even that's gonna take him a minute. So yeah. But anyhow, Deku, he's born. And let's just say Inko's a feminist, but she's still stuck with Aizawa because money. But yeah. And so Deku, he goes ahead and he's put in Aizawa's hands. And Aizawa, he says, how about we name him Yu-Gi-Oh? And so Inko, she said, yeah, sure, whatever. Just take the kid so I can't deal with him. He said, oh yeah, the divorce papers. She said, yeah. And so, Deku, after a couple of days, he's taken home by Aizawa, who requests time off of hero work. And so, President Mike, All Might, Namuri, so Midnight, and Nezu, they all come over to see baby Yugi. Well, baby Yu-Gi-Oh. But everybody will call him Yugi. And so, Deku, he essentially goes and grabs onto Aizawa's finger, and in his human form, he has enough strength, as a child, to at least cause a bruise to an adult male. If not break a bone. But he's squeezing on it, and he accidentally breaks Aizawa's finger. And Aizawa, he just pulls his finger away, and he says, Jesus. And he looks at it, and he's like, why the fuck is my finger dangling? The fuck? Yeah, looks at him, and he's just like, you have monster strength, kid. But anywho, they all get there, and they see Deku just laying on top of his dad, taking a nap. And then he woke up. He looked at them and smiled at them. And so, Deku, bro, it's funny because baby dragon, let's be honest, he looks like he got tickle bitties. Let's be honest, we all know it's a male, but why it look like he got titties, bro? That's strange, bro. And that's coming from a man with man, and to bro. Bruh, that's coming from a man that has male tickle bitties. Bruh, you all know what I look like. The fuck? But anywho, Deku, being Deku, he decides to go ahead But, anywho, sorry. Deku, he goes and he decides to, climb up off of it onto the couch pillows. And he was, on, the edge. And then he fell off and hit his head. And as all he has tile, because the kitchen is behind the couch, because he only lives in an apartment. So yeah. And so Deku, sorry. Sorry. But, anywho. So, Deku. Sorry. And they were all like shocked, and they were like rushing over to him, and they realized he wasn't even crying. He was just like looking up at them, just like tilting his head, just like, eh, what y'all so worried about? Like, the fuck? And like he starts crawling over to like All Might, who's in his skeleton form, and he like climbs up him. He's just like chilling on All Might's shoulder. And All Might's just like, huh? Why does my shoulder feel so... He looks, and it's just like Deku. And they're like, why is this nigga a ninja? Like, And Aizawa, he's just sitting there stunned at his child. Just like, eh. But anyhow, let's skip forward 4 years. Deku, he only looks like he's like 2, even though he's 4. And kids, they tease him for it. Because he's the shortest one. Little do they know, he'll be the tallest as soon as his quirk activates. But anywho, his quirk activates when he's 4. Which there have been hints of it, like his arm or something will like turn into like gold plated, and it'll get really skinny, or like he'll grow a wing, or like his hands will get laced in like an armor or metal, or he'll grow extra muscle. And so Aizawa, he takes him to the quirk doctor. They say, oh, his quirk is called Millennium Puzzle. It's similar to Inko's, blah, blah, blah. I already explained this. But, anywho. Deku. He goes ahead. Oh, sorry. But, yeah. And so, let me fix this right quick. But, anywho, he's like, And Deku, he's like, wait. So I'll look like my actual age once activate my quirk. And he's like, yeah. And then, like, while he's in his normal form, the Millennium Puzzle is in there. And they said to activate it, he has to say his name. And so, Deku, he says, Yu-Gi-Oh! Boom. He gets taller. And then, like, chains, they're, like, on his back. Like, implanted into his skin. And they chain link all the way to the Millennium Puzzle. And so, Deku. And, like, Aizawa, he's, like, looking, and he's just like, my son's gonna be a lady killer. He says, Dad? I don't want to kill people. I want to become a hero like you. He says, that's not what I mean, son. You know what? Never mind. You'll find out soon enough. Alright. Oh, yeah, by the way. Endeavor wants you to come over and meet his daughter. And Deku, he says, you mean Shoka? He says, yeah. And so Deku, he agrees. He's like, alright, let's go. You know what? It'll just be easier if I just... Sheesh. But, Where in the frick? Me who was looking for a good one. Everybody else just like, what is this nigga doing? He needs to hurry up. But she looks like this. But Deku, he doesn't have his quirk activated. Well, he deactivated his quirk. He says, alright, Dad. And Deku, on the car ride, because it's going to be a pretty long ride, like 40 minutes. He practices on like transforming his limbs. And he gets to where he can like turn his arms into the light rays, so they get like coated and like he gets talons, and he can turn both his arms into those. He's like, Dad, I ripped my shirt. He's like, I have a tank top in the back, you can wear that. And so Deku, he takes off his shirt, and he like really didn't feel anything different. He looks down, and he sees a six-pack, and he's like, is this a result of my quirk? He's like, Dad, I have 6 abs. He's like, excuse me? He looks back at his son, only to see his son with a 6-pack of abs looking like this. And he's like, excuse. He was just like thinking to himself, just like, what is my child? But the only ones that he can transform his limbs into right now are the arms, and that's of the Light Ray Diablos. He can turn his legs into the Chaos Emperor dragons, but instead of looking like a dragon's legs, his legs are like a normal human's. They're just a lot more muscular, and there's like armor. So essentially it looks like a knight wearing like greaves. But he puts it on. And he like gets the blue jacket. And he like puts like the collar or whatever part. And he makes his chains like go through it. And so he has it just like chilling on like the back of his neck like this. But he's not in his Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, technically Yami Yugi, because short one is Yugi Muto. But yeah. But Deku. But anywho, Deku, he keeps training, and then Deku, they arrive, and he takes Deku in, and Endeavor, he says, I thought you had a 4-year-old son, not a 2-year-old. He says, he is far. He says, I hate this. And he's like, huh, what do you mean you hate this? Are you just short? He says, no, it's because of my quirk. I don't look like my true age, but when I do, I'll get a little bit taller. He says, oh, so what do you look like with your quirk? He says, Yu-Gi-Oh! And then, boom! A light encompasses him. And he just looks like this. And he says, like this, Enji Todoroki. And he just went, eh. Like, nigga, you went from, hello, sir, to, yo, girl, call me daddy, too. Like, and he, like, pulls Aizawa to the side. And he says, I asked for him to have a play date with my daughter, not for him to take her heart. He said, she, I don't do it. My genetics is just too good, nigga. And so, he was straight up, fine, okay. And he yells, Shoka, come down here. And Toya, aka Dobby, but anyhow, so Deku, sorry. He goes ahead. He goes ahead, and he looks like, I thought Shoka was a female. And then Toya, he says, oh no, I'm her older brother. He says, oh, well, nice to meet you. I'm Yu-Gi-Oh! Aizawa. He says, wait, what? Aizawa, you have a son? And keep in mind, Toya's only like 6. Yeah, let's go with 6. If I'm being technically honest, all boys, like, if they were going up their friends, against their friends, they would just be like, "I salute you, soldier," and then continue to beat each other's ass. Like, let's be honest. Or is that just me and my friends? Did you hear that voice crack, though? But anywho. But Deku, he just kept his quirk activated. And like Shoka, she came down. And she was like, "Yes, father." And he said, "This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Aizawa. He came over here to play with you." And she says, "Did he? Or did you just call his dad or something?" And he says, "That does not matter. He came over here of the kindness of his heart, and I'll play with him." And she's like, "I want to make friends by my own, not be forced to." And so he says, "Play with him, Shoka." She says, "Fine." And so but anywho, so Deku, he goes with her. And he says, "So what kind of games do you play?" And she said, "Don't talk to me. I'm only playing with you because my dad made me." And so, Deku, he goes ahead and oh, sorry. But, anyhow, he's thinking just like, I understand that she didn't want to play with me or do anything with me, but she didn't have to be this rude about it. And so, Deku sorry, y'all. I gotta get me something to drink. This is just... But anywho, Deku, he continues to walk until they reach Shoka's room. Once they reach her room, things get quiet. Shall we say? Sorry.
left his knife on the field completely unprotected. Just one of those amateur mistakes cost him the match for dueling Pegasus. What is he thinking? Time out, Joey. Time out? Ever since we arrived on this island, I've done my very best to teach you everything that I know. Now you must put everything you learn. Think strategically. You cannot afford any mistakes. Mistakes? I don't get it. What are you saying, you? That I did something wrong already? It's only been one turn so far. What I'm saying, Joey, is that in a duel of this magnitude, you make is crucial. One false card and it can cost you everything you've worked so hard.
But
I got it. Everything here has got to be right on the dot. That's right, because here no one lets a mistake go unpunished. Not Pegasus and not me. Okay. I'm in. Now give me your best shot, pal. I intend to. Go, Gaia, the fierce knight!
so Deku, he goes and he just sits in her room. He tries to talk to her, but whatever he says is either met with a or don't talk to me, or shut up. This goes on for an hour. And Deku, he says, I'm gonna go. And she says, good. And so Deku, he got up and left. And Deku, he had tears forming in his eyes. Because this is before he has his character development. If you can't tell where I'm going with this. You must not be familiar with the way I do things. If you would know, then you can tell that he hasn't gotten hurt yet. Alright. So when he gets downstairs, Deku, he comes down. He says, Dad, let's go home. He says, huh? Why? And he said, and she says, I don't think she likes me whatsoever. And Deku, he just walked outside and got in the car. He held on to his giant All Might plushie, which was about half his size. And Deku at this point is 3 feet 8 inches. So that's about 1 foot 10 inches. But anywho, Yu-Gi-Oh! Ain't even brought out Exodia. Speaking of Exodia, Deku, he's crying a little. And he's hearing voices in his head, constantly saying, destroy, obliterate, torment them. God, I think it made my throat worse. And he, like, passes out. He wakes up in his Mindscape. To see all of these giant creatures. Exodia just towering above them all. And now, Deku, he's looking at them all. And they all said, it's time for your training, young one.
It seems I'm the only one who appreciates watching two friends push each other to the brink of their abilities. I guess it's something to inspire taste. So even though they're being forced to fight against each other.
But anyhow, Deku. Sorry. But anywho. He starts training with all the monsters. And they all said that they were happy to finally meet him. Minus Obelisk and Exodia. Obelisk, he just looked down upon him. He called him filthy, small, pathetic, useless, and small. This all truly hurt Deku. But the reason behind Obelisk's words were to harden his motivation, or to make him want to train harder, and to make him want to destroy. Because he knows that if Exodia ended up getting a hold of him, Exodia, he in and of himself would make sure that that boy destroyed everything if he could not control Exodia's power. At this moment, Deku, sorry. But anywho,
I get it. You got your game face on to try and keep me in suspense, huh, you?
No, Joey.
sorry.
You played a five.
But anywho, but Deku, he goes ahead and he goes and he's just training with them all on that grind, doing their standard like requirements that he needs to achieve them. All the meanwhile, Obelisk is just mentally deteriorating him, breaking him, and some of the monsters, they tell him to stop, and the others, they just look at him and say, because they know what he's doing. And Obelisk, he's happy that they know what he's doing. And to Exodia's anger, he also knows what he's doing. Deku, he's trained with them for 500 billion years inside of his Mindscape. That long is only like 20 minutes. Or no, not 20. 10 hours. And so yeah, he was asleep for like the rest of the day. Cause it was like they went over there at like 11. And so it's now like roughly 10:30. He spent one more 100 years sparring with Obelisk in his base form. He was strong enough to match with 10% of Obelisk's power, which is like a 100th of Exodia's power. But if Yugi, aka Deku, was pushing his limit to the max, he could withstand 15% of him. But yeah. Sorry, but I'm sick. It's interrupting the video, and I'm sorry. But anywho, my freaking chest hurts. But anywho, he goes ahead and he decides that he'll just forget about Shoka. For now, that is. But anywho, he goes ahead And Deku and Shoka, they now go to the same elementary school, and they're in the same class. And so, in kindergarten, they're like sitting in their table groups and stuff. And like everybody was sharing their quirks. And there was one kid that was quirkless. And this ash blonde boy started picking on him, Deku. He walked over him and he said, "Don't pick on the kid. Leave him alone. You can't blame him for something he couldn't control. So quit bothering him and leave." He says, "Oh, so you want to get hurt too?" And he explodes Deku. Deku, at that moment, hardened his skin. And his skin right now, in base form, and in base form his power are like significantly like lower. And the most he can do is Kevlar. But the way that it essentially works is that he hardens his muscle making his skin harder. So yeah.
I'm not gonna miss this time, Yugi. I'm gonna blast your dog Machishi.
And so Deku, he goes ahead. Actually, it's on the far right. But anyhow, Deku. Sorry, y'all. But anyhow. He just looks at the explosive Pomeranian and he says, "It just dawned on me. You look like a Pomeranian." And the ash blonde haired kid says, "What did you just say?" And he says, "You look like a Pomeranian." And the kids, they started laughing, and he said, "How dare you look down on me?" And he tried to hurt Izuku again, but Deku, he just judo flipped him over his shoulder. Because he learned martial arts from Aizawa. And he said, "Quit relying on your quirk. Pathetic. You okay, This girl was named sorry. It's just some random side character. Deku just needed a reason to beat the crap out of Bakugo. I'm gonna be honest.
Dark magician. The Black Skull Dragon.
But yeah. And so Deku,
Excellent work, Yugi boy. You took out his very best monster.
and so Deku,
I was counting on that Black Skull Dragon to win this duel.
he goes ahead,
But I got a super dark magician to worry about.
and Deku,
All match long. Now I finally have the
he goes
Not only is my dark magician 300 points stronger,
and says,
he's ready to show off.
alright. But what this causes is for Bakugo to constantly want to challenge Deku. And Deku, he's beaten the crap out of Bakugo so many times where he's lost count. But Deku, he goes ahead
What am I thinking? I can't give up.
and he says,
Okay.
as he's just like yawning. And this is like a second year of middle school. And so he's just sitting at his desk, just like this.
Time to kiss the baby. Go! Baby dragon, attack mode.
And
Then I'm laying this down too.
all of the girls in the school, they all think that
Something before he activates and
Deku 1 is the smartest and 2 is the strongest. But they also think, what about Shoka?
just walk into a trap. What? Go ahead and let him have it, Karuchis.
And so Deku,
I was expecting the Time Wizard, so he threw a trap instead.
Shame on you, Yugi boy. Using that knowledge you have of Joey's deck to predict what card he plays. And to no avail to
sorry, but anywho,
I'm always right.
he's just thinking, and like everyone there wondering like what's on his mind.
I would. And now, Joey, let's finish this match and find out which
What he's thinking about in all actuality. He says, alright, so
been a real honor doing. Likewise.
if an orange is orange, then why is it called an orange? Is it because the fruit is orange? Or is it because an orange is orange? Which means that the orange is orange, which is why an orange is called orange. Because it's orange? Or because an orange is an orange? Or is orange orange because orange is orange? He's just like, what the fuck is this bullshit? But Deku, he doesn't look like this. He looks like his younger version. But like all the girls, they think like he's cute and stuff. But like today is the day where like it's a fun day. So like the teacher, she says, hey, you all can use your quirks today.
My baby dragon on the field. Oh, points away from winning or losing this duel. I'm gonna give it one last spin and hope it saves me. So cross your fingers. Get set to
At the request of a pro hero.
go.
So he'll be here just in case your quirks may get out of control. And in steps Aizawa. He says, "Hello, I'm Shota Aizawa. I'm Pro Hero Eraserhead." And they're like, "Aizawa." But then that means, and they look over at Deku. And they're just like, "Nah, no way." And Aizawa, he says, "Hello, son." And Deku, he looks at him and he says, "Hey, Dad." And they're like, "No fucking way." And they say, "Wait, now that I think about it, we've never seen Deku use his quirk against Bakugo. He's either just pummeled him with his hands, or just mess with Bakugo's mind to the point where Bakugo's brain was mush." And Deku, he uses his quirk, and he gets bigger, because at that point, he was already 5'7". It's funny.
1,000 years of wisdom that have transformed him into the Dark Sage. An ultimate magician whose new
But
powers
anywho,
let me play one magic card during every one of your turns,
Deku,
every one of mine.
he now
Chose to capture your attack.
is, since I said that, that means he's 6'6". Wait a second, no, if he's 5'7", that means, no, he's 6'10". And they saw this height of a grown man, and they were like, "Huh?" And like Shoka, it had been a minute until she's seen Deku look like this, and she started blushing. And Deku, and they like were all astonished, and they were like, "Wait, is age enhancement just your quirk or something?" He says, "No, this is just what I truly look like." So essentially, I turned into my true form. And they were like, And Deku, over this time period, Deku, he has only gotten Obelisk to let him use Obelisk's arms.
You really ought to save your tears, little girl. After all, you'll be needing them once I face Yugi in the dueling arena.
And so, yeah.
Well, you did. We knew one of us had to lose. But the good news is that one of us got to win, too. Congratulations, man. Here,
But,
it's yours.
anywho,
Go ahead. It's all yours.
Deku,
Croquet this card.
he goes
And
ahead,
he'll give you $3 million in prize money. No, Joey. Huh? You should keep it. Your sister needs that
and
money.
Deku,
I didn't enter into this tournament to get rich, Joey. I'm just here to save my grandpa and the Kaiba brothers. Please use this money for Serenity's operation.
he goes ahead,
Yugi,
and
What do you say, Joey?
he
Hey, it's what you've been wanting, buddy.
look at him,
Just
always
looks.
playing the tough guy.
And he says, "Alright, everybody, I'm going to pass something around. All of you answer the question on it." And Bakugo, he had a sister. She was the same age as him. But she didn't go to the same school as him due to a divorce, but he still hung out with his sister. And Bakugo, he had a sister. She was the same age as him. But she didn't go to the same school as him due to a divorce, but he still hung out with his sister. And Deku, he But anywho, Bakugo, he's just like thinking about her and how something that his dad had said, that his sister was coming. And she was gonna enroll in the same school as him. And so, Deku, he goes ahead. Sorry, but anywho, so he goes ahead and he decides, you know what, skip this. And he just like dashes around and uses his quirk at like not full speed, but like Sonic level speed, so only like 272 miles an hour. You wanna know something funny? Accelerate is faster than Sonic. And Alien X can beat Goku. And we aren't even talking about Ben's, heck, a baby version of Alien X, which, yes, a baby version can legit completely obliterate everything because they don't have the same limitations as the adults. Because the rules of time haven't been dawned on them. And no, I'm not talking about like taught to them. It's legit called like the rule of time. It takes a while for them to get it, but once they do, they can't like technically act freely, but they can act freely, if you get what I mean. But anywho, so Deku, he goes ahead.
So, Yugi boy, you've turned out to be quite the young
And decides,
battling your way past all these challenges, winning your way into the castle just to face me.
alright, time to check on everyone. He says, alright, you all done? And he asked, and the question he asked was, what's everyone's type of girl or guy?
What a strange demand.
And so, Deku,
As much as you hate me, Yugi.
Maybe I need to keep a vow of my own, Pegasus.
But then, what can I do?
sorry,
You can start by trusting in me. And
but
together,
anywho,
we will defeat Pegasus.
but Deku,
I made a promise to Mokuba, a vow that I would reunite him with his brother.
he goes ahead,
Ah, I see. About to Mokuba.
and
Did he just read my mind?
Okay, Yugi boy, if it will put your mind at ease, I agree to your terms. If you win your battle with me, I shall free these three from their lonesome prison of souls.
sorry,
This is up to something.
but anywho, Deku, he looks at everything, and he's like, ah, yes,
The entire tournament, Pegasus attacked his own. You kidding?
but
He's gazed at.
most of the guys,
Undisputed champion.
they were just like, Shoka, and most of the girls,
Guys, Yuki's counting on us too. But Pegasus has never played fair.
they were either saying him, Bakugo,
Whatever card he plays, Yuki will overcome. Yuki
or like some of the girls, I'm going to say they were like bi, would put like Deku or Bakugo,
Yuki's no guy, but
and like Shoka or like another girl or something. You get what I mean.
We can get a better view.
Good idea, Dad.
But anywho,
There's nothing we can do but wait for the duel to play out. Pegasus holds all the cards right now.
Deku go. I mean, Deku go.
His mercy, no matter what the outcome.
Deku go burr.
Right. Tristan,
But
where are you
anywho,
going?
I'm gonna see if I can find Kaiba or Mokuba anywhere. Because if I can get them back, even without their souls, then Pegasus will hold all the cards.
Search for their empty vessels. Not a bad idea. Challenger Yugi Moto, as per the rules of the Duelist Kingdom tournament, present the card that entitles you to participate.
As per your rules, here it is. Glory of the King's opposite hand.
So it is. And so the stage is set for the
but
final
anywho,
duel of the Duelist Kingdom competition. Just as the card you hold is a
Deku, he goes ahead.
prize you may request of your opponent if you are the victor. You can decide if you wish to take over his company as your
And he
You can ask for the or demand
gets asked by them
I as your
what his type of girl is,
crazy.
and he says tomboys.
Tristan wandered off
And
by himself. I'm not sure
everyone, they looked at him
Dad, this is just getting interesting.
Wow, that's what I call a prize.
and they were just like,
Throw a tournament, or do I know how to
eh?
throw a Duelist Kingdom tournament? Promise me that you will free the souls of
What do you
my
mean
grandfather
tomboys?
and all the
And he
others.
says exactly what I said.
But if I am the one that defeats you instead, you have to fulfill your end of the bargain as well.
And Shoka,
Get close and look at the card you hold in your hand, Yugi boy.
she cut her hair to look like a boy, but everybody in their class, they all know she's a girl,
So you see, you have
but everyone else, they all think she's a guy.
risk as well.
Most of the teachers think she's a guy,
I'm willing to take to free the soul of my grandfather.
because yeah, she flat.
Plan to lose.
For now.
We will indeed, Pegasus. So courageous. So
But yeah,
Did you hear that? If Yuki loses,
and he
Pegasus
said,
will steal his soul too.
so essentially, like Shoka.
On the line, Yuki still isn't gonna back down.
And they all like looked at him,
Solo the outcome. That's our Yugi.
and so
Anything for anybody. Yes. Biggest gamble I've ever seen anybody take.
he went ahead and he said, alright, well, that's the end of school day. I'm leaving. See y'all later. But yeah, this is it. Don't forget to check the link don't forget to check the description for the Discord link.
part of my collection, Yugi.
See you later.
Defeating you, I secure my control of Kaiba Corporation and
But yeah,
its inventions.
so I'll see you all later.